pass. Dustin Dvorak and Taylor McGregor with you. A&M is now 2 wins away from a guaranteed spot in its first ever SEC title game. It's been a magical year, and Dusty, they're led by a player that's exploded onto the national stage.
Marcel Reed is so improved from where he was a year ago, and a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate. One of the most explosive quarterbacks running the football in college, and so improved in the passing game. He's got an excellent offensive line, the stable running backs, and one of the most dynamic duos at wide receiver, and is leading this high-octane A&M offense in a great way.
A different story for South Carolina's quarterback, LaNorris Sellers. Here's Taylor.
Dave, they're trying to get LaNorris Sellers into a rhythm, and they're doing so with a new offensive play caller. 2 weeks ago, after they lost to Texas A&M, Shane Beamer fired his OC, Mike Shula. Today, Mike Furry takes over the play calling duties, and his #1 goal is to get LaNorris Sellers to play free. They felt like they had been putting too much on his plate pre-snap, so they've tried to clean that up to get the ball out of his hands faster. But something to pay attention to, it is howling the wind down here. Talking to both coaches pregame, Dave and Dusty, that could play a huge factor in today's game, beginning with this kickoff.
We were down on the field, Taylor, talking with you before the game, and saw several muff punts by South Carolina having issues adjusting to the wind. Meanwhile, look at that. A&M basically has to win, or the odds say they will not make it to the SEC title game, and they still have to go to Austin on Black Friday on ABC to face Texas. A&M won the toss and deferred. South Carolina will get it first. And Taylor mentioned LaNorris Sellers and the success that he had last year in general, but specifically against Texas A&M. He ruined their season. The Aggies were 7-1, ranked 10th. They lost that game and then ended up losing 4 of their final 5 as Sellers ran for over 100, threw for almost 250, and had 3 total touchdowns.
Well, the size is really what jumps out. He's built more like a tight end at 6'3", 240-plus, powerful runner, so difficult to tackle, but he's been wildly inconsistent as a passer. 2 weeks of prep with the new play caller. We'll see if they can get him into an early rhythm and get some confidence going with him here at throwing the football.
And a handoff to Fuller on first down. Matt Fuller, who's been getting a lot of carries of late, picks up 3 as we take a look at today's proven performance, brought to you by Goodyear.
Well, LaNorris Sellers has been sacked a lot on the offensive line, and some of it's on him holding the football too much. And this is one of the most ferocious pass rushes in all of college football. Cassius Howell headlines this Aggies front, leading the SEC in sacks, but they bring pressures on third down, and they're going to attack LaNorris Sellers from all directions.
No keep it on the ground on second down, and it's a first down for Jaworn Howell. Just his 8th rush of the season, playing just his 3rd game. 12-yard pickup.
Good job right here off the left side and getting up to the second level. Opens up a good hole on the interior of this offensive line, and downhill running from Jaworn Howell.
Boy, that'll help Sellers if they can get the run game going. They've been the worst offense in the SEC this season. Another run play, and a nice cut that time in the hole by Fuller, and he gets 5 yards before he's tackled on the play by Torian York. South Carolina 3-6. They were number 11 in the country under Shane Beamer early in the season, and in his career, now year 5 in Columbia, look at that, 6-1 in November against ranked teams. Got 3 wins against top 10 teams in just this month alone. And now Sellers throwing to Harbor on the perimeter. And Harbor close to a first down. They'll spot him about a half-yard shy. Third down coming up.
Got to think in this spot, Dave. 3rd and short. Keep the ball in your quarterback's hands. LaNorris Sellers, we talked about his size and how difficult he is to tackle. Like to see him keep it here to convert on this 3rd down.
Texas A&M, the best 3rd down defense in the country. And Sellers will keep it, and he's got a ton of room. First down and more. gets an extra yard and picks up a total of 12 down to the 39 of A&M.
Well, it's a really good read. Watch this edge. Both these guys are going to stay inside. It's going to open up the perimeter for LaNorris Sellers. Nice job at the mesh as he feels both Cassius Howell and Sanford, the linebacker, play inside. He says, this is too easy. I'm going to just go ahead and take this opportunity, get to the perimeter, and pick up a first down.
Here comes a jet sweep, now a reverse. Here's Rowe on the pitch, throwing it deep, and Sellers has the football inside the 20 and down to about the 17-yard line. A gain of 22 on a trick play, and Carolina's in the red zone.
Well, Mike Furry's in his bag here. It's going to come down this way, motion across, and then LaNorris is going to work his way out on a wheel route. Perfectly executed here on the reverse throwback pass to the quarterback. Nobody identifies LaNorris Sellers coming out. Pass is where it needs to be, and a nice job after the catch by LaNorris Sellers. Mike Furry could not have scripted a better offensive start to this game for South Carolina.
Former wide receiver in the NFL, and in his second year as the receivers coach. As Taylor mentioned, calling plays for the first time. Sellers off play action, floats it into the end zone, incomplete. He was trying to hit Jacobs. Dalton Brooks in coverage, second down. Pressure from Deion Hayes that time on Sellers.
Also good coverage there by Des Ricks, and they're going to put these corners on islands with the pressure that they bring and what they like to do defensively. Put a lot on Des Ricks, put a lot on Will Lee, and they will have to be up to the task here throughout the course of this ball game.
Sellers again off play action, and the pass through the hands of Fuller, incomplete. Damian Sanford out there in coverage, and now it's 3rd and 10.
And this is where they didn't want to be. We showed that graphic. #1 third down defense in the country. It's because they've been able to get teams in 3rd and long situations. And what they love to do, put a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage, make you identify exactly where they're coming from. And few teams in all of college football pressure the quarterback like this Aggies front.
And here comes a blitz. Sellers gets rid of it. It's batted in the air and almost picked off. Cassius Howell dropping that time as Marcus Ratliff had pressure, and Howell with the breakup.
Well, this just really shows the versatility of Cassius Howell. Mentioned one of the best premier pass rushers, but he's going to drop. The pressure's going to come here. It's going to come home. But Cassius Howell shuts it down. He knows he's got the back out of the backfield. Perfect position, gets his hand on the football, and forces 4th down.
Now, William Joyce, who is having trouble with short field goals in warm-up because of the wind, he missed the 25-yarder, is going to attempt a 36-yarder here. And that one is good. So South Carolina able to capitalize on the nice opening drive. And they lead it 3-0. Heisman Trophy candidate Marcel Reed's turn when we come back to Bryan College Station.
Of the week.
South Carolina behind LaNorris Sellers a year ago in Columbia trounced South Carolina. They outscored them, or trounced A&M rather, outscoring them 24-0 in the second half. A&M ended up losing 4 of its last 5 games. Obviously hoping for a different finish this year. They're unbeaten in the SEC along with Alabama. They got a few one-loss teams. Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas, as the fair catch was made, and will come out to the 25. And now Marcel Reed, who last year split time at quarterback with Connor Wigman, but coming into his 10th game in 2025, he's had a terrific season, and he trails only Johnny Manziel in terms of all-time passer rating. Manziel won the Heisman the last time Texas A&M won 10 games, and they'll get to 10-0 if they can beat South Carolina today. They trail early 3-0. Reed accounting for 25 touchdowns on the season, 19 passing, 6 rushing. And a run play. Owens on first down, and he gets nothing as we look at the impact players brought to you by Mattress Firm.
Well, inside, Nick Barrett's going to have to play a key role for this defensive front for South Carolina. Nick Harvey, we've already seen the big 6'5" wideout with great speed for offensively. Damian Sanford's been playing excellent linebacker, and Casey Concepcion is a weapon. So good with the ball in his hands. 10 touchdowns, leads all SEC wide receivers this season.
Reed to throw from the pocket, fires over the middle, complete. Borkacher, the tight end, to first down, out to the 44-yard line, a gain of 19.
Well, great protection by the offensive line. How about the route you're going to see come in on the dig route from Borkacher, and then a strike. Offensive line protects, clean pocket. See Marcel Reed feel comfortable climbing that pocket and fire an absolute strike over the middle to his tight end. These tight ends are a big piece of this offense. Now, there are 29 catches between Orstrom and Borkacher.
Play action, stepping up and taking a shot downfield. And the catch is made by Concepcion inside the 15-yard line.
You're going to see the pressure on Marcel Reed. Brian Thomas able to get there, but the speed down the field of Casey Concepcion, too good. One-on-one coverage, not going to be able to keep up with him. Safety's laid over the top, and you can't throw it any better than that, Dave Pasch.
43-yard pass play, and now a jet sweep. It's Owens trying to get to the perimeter, and he's spun down. Check that, it was Craver on the carry, and Judge Collier able to track him down for a loss of a couple on the play. Boy, Marcel Reed, the confidence he has. We met with him yesterday, and he's as enjoyable a conversation as we've had all year. Just a great young man. You sense his presence and confidence and can see why he is the leader of this A&M team.
Charismatic. He was very impressive, and you're right. That confidence was oozing out of every word when he sat with us there yesterday, and it's oozing out of every throw we've seen so far today.
Reed, and that pass off target, thrown in between Craver and his tight end.
It looked like he wanted to try to hit Orstrom coming out of that break, and just bad timing and a misfire for Marcel Reed. Craver, I don't know if he was expecting Craver to turn around there. Just something off there about that pass from Marcel Reed. They need in this spot Dylan Stewart to find a way to get a pressure. One of the best pass rushers in the SEC, bottom of your screen.
Reed in trouble, and he's sacked. Brian Thomas Jr. back there and forced a fumble. It was recovered by Kronover, the right tackle. And it's going to be a field goal attempt here for A&M.
Well, this is relentless effort. Watch him work back inside and just be tough and physical, continue to fight as he works inside to the quarterback, and a big hit on Marcel Reed. This is one of the best offensive lines in the country, and Brian Thomas with that motor and relentless effort to the quarterback with a big sack.
Looked like Reed was down, but again, it was recovered by Kronover anyway. And now a 41-yard field goal try from Randy Bond. And that ties the game midway through the first quarter at 3 apiece. Lenora Sellers with a big catch on the opening drive to get the Gamecocks on the board, and we're now tied.
ESPN College Football is presented by ServPro, the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration.
Just 3 unbeatens left: Ohio State, Indiana, and Texas A&M. The Aggies trying to get to 10-0 for the first time since 2012. Our Aflac trivia question: it's awfully important to be in the top 3 since the format began in 2014. Only once has the eventual champ come from outside the top 3 of the second rankings release. Can you name the team, Dusty?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'll give you a hint. It happened early
I already know it
in the process.
I already got it.
Okay. Time now for another edition. Dusty's Defensive Dudes.
And we got some dudes in this ball game. Dylan Stewart is where we're going to start for South Carolina. He has got length, he's got bend, and freaky athleticism. Better against the run this year. They need him to pressure the quarterback today. Nobody pressures the quarterback in the SEC better than Cassius Howe. 10.5 sacks, leads the conference. But you saw the versatility already today in coverage. Can really do it all for this Aggies defense.
A transfer from Bowling Green. And he only started one game last year for Texas A&M, had 4 sacks. You see the great numbers in 2025. Sellers and a pass batted down. There's Howell again, already 2 pass breakups here in 7 minutes.
Well, there was something going on with the snap, and this was too easy. You see the hesitation. Left tackle never even moves. And that excellent get off from Cassius Howe as he gets his hands up with his second pass breakup already in this first quarter.
Sellers to throw again, has time, tries to dump it off, and it's batted again by Howell.
You know, I'm surprised Lenore Sellers doesn't run this, but watch Cassius Howe. He's going to start up and work back in and get his hand on the football. As this opens up, look at the middle of the field open up here, Dave. Looked to me like an opportunity for Lenore to get 5 or more yards running the football, but instead it's another nice job by Cassius Howe.
A little surprised they're not running the ball in general on first down and second down. Now in 3rd and long, they have to throw. Sellers layers that beautifully for a first down catch to his brother. Jaden Sellers out to the 47 for 22 yards.
Well, it's a trips stack formation on the outside. Zone coverage on the back end. And younger brother, Jaden, just comes wide open. And a great throw delivered by Lenoris. Good confident throw for that first down.
Might be a free play, flag down, and Sellers going to take a shot, but good coverage that time by Ricks. Running with the track star Nick Harbor. Cassius Howell appeared to be the man.
Number 9, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
Dusty, I'm sure you've been in that position. You make some plays early on as a D lineman. Yeah, you're starting to get hungrier and you jump, right?
Trying to jump that snap count, trying to get going. And it unfortunately happens to the best of us on the defensive line. And obviously creates opportunity for the offense as they try to take a shot there to Nick Harbor. I'd like to see him get back to that ground game they had a lot of success with on the opening drive.
And it's going to be a design run for Sellers, and he's got a crease. Out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Chased out by Sanford, a gain of 20 for South Carolina. There's a flag down, though.
We got a flag. They're going to pull the guard. They're going to pull the center. And Lenore Sellers going to be able to get to the perimeter, but it's all going to be for naught and going to come back.
It looked like Jordan Dingle, the tight
Personal
end there on
foul.
the edge.
Shot block on the offense. Number 78 and number 72. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
Looked like there maybe was a hold as well, but they get Surratt and Trovon Baugh for the chop block. That's a big penalty.
Ball goes low, and then you see Surratt go high. Either way, you can't do that. If you're engaged high, you can't go low. You can't start low, then somebody go high. It's a good call by the official.
Sellers will run it again, cuts it upfield, and he's knocked down by York. Gain of 6 on the play. Sellers was so good running the ball last year. He had 7 rushing touchdowns. One of the reasons he went from a player that was virtually unknown early last year to skyrocketing up the draft boards and the Heisman conversation, but he's been as disappointing a player this year as anybody in college football.
Really feels like he's taken a step back as a passer and hasn't had that impact as a runner. Big stage and opportunity here today.
His pass caught near midfield is Jacobs. He gets drilled by York. But maybe the change with play calling, Mike Shula fired going into the bye on November 2nd and going with Mike Furry, maybe that will spark Sellers. He certainly has looked better here in the first quarter than he had for a good part of this year. Preseason first team All-SEC quarterback.
Look at all these bodies at the line of scrimmage, Dave. Now you got to try to figure out if Lenore Sellers and the offensive line, who's coming, who's not. Let's see if they're able to pick up this pressure or if A&M bails at the snap. Try to confuse you in these spots.
Pressure off the edge. Sellers throws it deep, and it's caught. And they're marking Jacobs down, or no. Now official comes in and says touchdown, South Carolina. A strike by Sellers, 50 yards to Vandravius Jacobs.
Wow, what an absolute dime. Cannot throw it any better than that. And Jacobs clearly in the end zone as he goes in, falling on top of the corner, Will Lee. Two big third down throws on that drive from Lenore Sellers.
And just the 8th touchdown pass for Sellers, but that right there, as the extra point is good, looked like the Lenore Sellers of 2024.
Well, we knew going into the season, as you watch Lee, it's going to be a vertical route down the field. And Lee's going to give ground, and he's going to be cheating back inside. Safety never gets over the top of this. Sellers steps up in the pocket with pressure off the edge. Can't throw it any better. What a way to start this game for South Carolina with an early lead in College Station.
Welcome back to the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week. What a start for Lenore Sellers. He's got a catch. He's got 18 yards rushing, and he just threw a 50-yard bomb right on the money to Vandravius Jacobs to give South Carolina the lead against number 3 Texas A&M. And another fair catch signal, and this will come out to the 25 as we check in with Matt Berry in the studio.
All right, gentlemen, good afternoon. Happy week 12 of the college football season. Your Subway Fresh Plays. Pat Narduzzi said earlier in the week Notre Dame could put 100 points on us as long as we win the next 2. Well, Jeremiah Love just put a spin move on him to make it 7-0. And then the very first play of the ensuing possession, Tay Johnson picks off Mason Heinzel, pick 6 Oski, 14-0 in a matter of seconds in the first quarter there at Pittsburgh.
Well, Notre Dame playing like a different team than we saw early in the season. One of those losses for the Irish at home against this Texas A&M team. Reed back to work, and a strike across the middle. Concepcion. It's still going. And finally brought down at the 35 of South Carolina. A 40-yard play to start this drive for Texas A&M.
One of the most explosive players with the football in his hands in the SEC. Motion him over, just an easy slant route, but get the ball in his hands and open field, and great things happen. Excellent after the catch.
He's already got 83 receiving yards here in the first quarter. Owens gets the carry off the left side with room. And a gain of close to 8 before he's tackled by Okoronkwo.
A nice downhill running there by Ruben Owens, who is really starting to put together an excellent season. 100 yards last week for the second time this year. You know, he was highly touted coming out, a 5-star running back, one of the best in the country, tears his ACL last year before the year. And with Le'Veon Moss out, Ruben Owens has really picked it up.
2 100-yard games in his last 5. Had a couple of touchdowns last week. The win at Missouri. Owens again, and no running room this time. Nick Barrett up front did a great job for South Carolina to force third down.
We've talked a lot about Lenore Sellers as a runner. Marcel Reed equally as effective and maybe even more electric than Lenore Sellers. Obviously stature, they look totally different, but the way they can attack you, very similar It's situations like this. They love to get Marcel Reed on the perimeter, read zone, to give him the opportunity to call his own number and pick up this kind of yardage.
Instead, Reed will hand it off to Smith. And Smith is grabbed and thrown down. Fred Johnson on the tackle, a gain of about a yard, so it's 4th down and 2, and A&M will send on the field goal team. A little surprised here?
I am. I expected them to go for this. With this offensive line, with so much size, they average over 323 pounds a man. They've averaged 32 starts up front. I figured he'd lean on that offensive line and he'd go for it, but settling for a field goal. A little surprising to me, Dave.
Randy Bond 1 for 1, made a 41-yarder. He has missed 5 field goals, though, this year. This is a 45-yard attempt. And that one is wide left and no good. It remains 10-3 South Carolina.
Talked about that win earlier in the show. It was messing with the kickers, especially down in that end zone. This one just pulled to the left. Don't know how much the win affected that, but I think that win gets in the mind of a kicker when you're out there and you've seen it early in the game. And boy, what a huge stop for South Carolina. After that explosive play by Concepcion to settle in and come up with that stop. Boy, a lot of momentum right now with the Gamecocks.
And Bond is now 11 of 17. It's awfully hard to win a national championship if your kicker has that poor of a percentage. Fuller cut down after a short gain by Dalton Brooks. Let's check in with Taylor McGregor.
Dave, Shane Beamer really pleased with the start from his offense. Went up to the receivers and said, this is the matchup. They can't catch you. I've been telling you that all week. And remember, the guy calling plays here today is Mike Furry, their receivers coach. He opted to sit upstairs so he could better diagnose the way this Texas A&M secondary was playing against his receivers. So interesting matchup there.
And a 50-yard touchdown to Jacobs by Sellers on the last possession to take the 10-3 lead. After a gain of 3 on first down on this possession. No run it again with Fuller, and he's tracked down backside by Ryland Kennedy. A loss of 1, 3rd and long. But South Carolina's 3 of 4 on 3rd down today.
You touched on it, Dave. Kennedy's just going to get right in the hip pocket, and he's going to chase backside down the line. It's a really good job getting into Surratt, the right tackle, and creating that negative play. The last possession, 3rd and 7 plus. Lenore Sellers was 2 for 2. Showing pressure again on this 3rd down.
And they come off the edge, and the pass is juggled by Rowe. He eventually catches it, but the defense catches up to him. Jordan Shaw leading the charge on the takedown. Another negative play.
Well, the right defensive end, Devon Hayes, just going to come unaccosted off the edge, and this ball has got to come out hot and really quick. For Lenore Sellers, pass, good defense as they rallied the football, and nowhere for South Carolina to go. Nice job answering by that Aggies front.
Casey Concepcion has 2 punt returns for touchdowns for Texas A&M. This is a poor punt, though. Concepcion will get away from it. It takes a friendly roll for South Carolina down to about the 27-yard line. So a punt that ends up going about 49 yards. All right, let's answer the Aflac trivia question. Since 2014, when the CFP format started, only one time has the eventual champ come from outside the top 3 of the second rankings release.
So Ohio State lost to Virginia Tech early in the 2014 season, and it was a steady climb all the way back up. I think they snuck in as the 4 seed and won the national championship. I don't think they ever even made it inside the top 3. So I'm going Ohio State 2014.
You are correct. But it is incredible that since then, you are in the top 3 in the second rankings, that you're going to win the championship. Texas A&M's last national title came in 1939. Reed to throw, and in trouble, flushed out of the pocket, throws back across the middle where it's It's juggled but incomplete. Bussey could not hang on.
Against his body, pass a little bit low. Bussey went down and tried to corral it, unable to. Bussey, a dynamic athlete as well. Mr. Texas football as a junior. Really good. The return game on kickoff and continuing to build his role as receiver for this offense. Couldn't bring in that first down throw.
Reed in trouble. His arm hit. The ball goes backwards, and it's picked up by South Carolina. Nick Barrett's got it, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Gamecocks. Dylan Stewart got to the quarterback, and Barrett does the rest. What a way to end the quarter for South Carolina.
We touched on Dylan Stewart, his length. Watch this get off. Dylan Stewart's going to be untouched. Watch him get in the backfield. He first gets Ruben Owens, then he gets the arm of Marcel Reed. That passes backwards, and that's a scoop and score touchdown for the big man, Nick Barrett. Wow. Wow. That's the disruption that Dylan Stewart can create. The get off, the length. He grabs the running back, the quarterback all at one time. Marcel Reed panics, and it's a touchdown for South Carolina.
And the extra point makes it 17-3. We touched on South Carolina and the job that Shane Beamer has done pulling upsets in November. 3 top 10 wins in November previously. Looking for another one here in College Station. From Kyle Field, you're watching the SEC on ESPN. A surprise through one quarter here in College Station. Third-ranked Texas A&M trails South Carolina 17-3 after a fumble recovery for a touchdown at the end of the quarter. The third fumble return for a score for South Carolina this season. They lead the SEC in takeaways now with 17. Moments ago, Shane Beamer with Taylor.
Coach, you couldn't have scripted a better start for your group. What's impressed you the most about what you've done so far?
Just guys making plays. We challenge people, all week. We got to go make plays, and that's what our guys are doing. Like, we're not surprised. We beat this team by 24 points last year. And I get it. They got a hell of a football team. There's not a team in the country playing better than these guys. But our guys didn't come in here just hoping to compete.
And they have been in these situations before this year. They struggled on the road at Arkansas, won by 3. Struggled here at home with Auburn, ended up beating them by 6. And then the win at Notre Dame. So a 14-point deficit to overcome, and Marcel Reed back to work. Everybody covered, but Morrow comes free on the perimeter. And the freshman is thrown out of bounds by Jalen Kilgore after a gain of 9.
A good pocket and nice job by Reed finding his outlet there in the flats. You heard that confidence, though, from Shane Beamer, Dave. Like, we felt it. We talked to him this week. He feels that he's got a better team than the record shows. He knows that they have good players. And I was talking to him pregame. He said, I think if we can play well, we've got a great chance to win. It's an excellent start here early.
Reed pulls it back, fires through the hands of Bethel Roman, incomplete. It's going to be 3rd and 1. Well, again, this South Carolina team was ranked 11th preseason. They beat Virginia Tech opening weekend on a Sunday afternoon. They moved up to number 10. And a big reason why they were so hyped going into the year was because of Lenore Sellers. But he's played poorly until this first quarter, one of his best quarters of the season. Morrow takes the handoff, and he is belted short of the line to gain. DQ Smith in there with the hit. It's a loss of a yard, and it's 4th down.
Wow, this South Carolina defense has come to play. DQ Smith's going to come right off the edge, unaccounted for, and he's going to hit Morrow behind the line of scrimmage and force another A&M punt. Well, we've seen short yardage situations here today. This defensive line, the aggressiveness of defensive coordinator Clayton White really challenged what's been an excellent offensive line and short yardage run game for Texas A&M.
Kilgore is deep for South Carolina. Excellent punt. And it checks up and is downed around the 10-yard line. South Carolina back on offense, leading 17-3 over undefeated and number 3 Texas A&M. Well, A&M is atop the standings at 6-0 along with Alabama, but they played 7 of the bottom 8 teams in the SEC. So in most scenarios, they lose tiebreakers, and they really essentially need to win out to make it to the SEC title game. Now, a loss today, maybe even a second loss to Texas, may not eliminate them from the college football playoff. But in terms of getting to their first ever SEC title game, they lose today, only a 12% chance of making it. Here's Jaden Sellers. And he's to the 16 for a gain of about 5.
Haven't been in a conference championship game since '98 when they won the Big 12. So whether it's the Big 12, and as you mentioned, Dave, they have not been to an SEC title game. Just crazy the way the schedule has broken for them. And as you pointed out, they lose any tiebreaker scenario.
Sellers to throw, and now takes off. And then throws before he crosses the line of scrimmage. And it was thrown over the head of Harger, but a flag is down. Will Lee, who got beat on the touchdown in the first quarter, going to get called for a penalty here.
Pass interference on the defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Well, they are taking their shots down the field. Nick Harbour, it's what he does best, go vertically. The contact by Will Lee. See hand fighting there. Yeah, he got him with that left hand, little wrap up. They were both kind of jockeying for position.
Was the ball catchable?
I don't, because it looked to me like Harbour throttled down, wasn't expecting to pass, and then tried to speed back up. Will Lee draw the contact.
Hand off to Howell on first down. Stretches forward to the 35. Well, Texas A&M head coach Mike Elko in his second year has done a tremendous job, and reports today from our Pete Thamel that he's staying in Aggie land with a contract extension. But that news overshadowed right now by the score.
Well, it's money well spent. Mike Elko has been an excellent hire. He's done a great job, and you want to keep him right here in College Station, but you want to handle their business here today.
Sellers dumping it off to Dingle, the tight end. First down into Texas A&M territory. And close to the 40-yard line. Dingle's 10th catch of the season. Gain of 24.
Watch Dalton Brooks is going to sneak up and come in, and they're going to bring Dingle right out the outside, and nobody accounts for him. And it's an easy pitch and catch for Sellers.
Lenora Sellers, 6 of 11, over 100 passing yards and a touchdown. He's caught a pass. He's run for 18 yards. And he's got South Carolina on the move, looking to add to a 14-point lead. Howell off the left edge. Another first down. Will Lee trips him up. 14 more yards.
Nick Sharp off the left side. Watch him just work and move people out of the way. Does a really good job continuing to work. You see 5. DJ Hicks works inside, and a big hole opens up off that left side. And South Carolina finding a groove, Dave, on the ground and on the arm of Lenora Sellers.
They have 63 rushing yards to -13 for Texas A&M. Sellers on the rollout, and the pass high intended for Jaden Sellers, his younger brother, incomplete.
And let's give Mike Furry a lot of credit here, okay? I mean, he's wide receivers coach. The Sunday after they lose to Ole Miss, Shane Beamer makes a tough decision. They fire Mike Shula. He goes to Mike Furry and says, hey, you're going to be calling plays. Mike Furry at lower levels had coaching experience, play calling experience. And he's given him this opportunity. And how about the response we've seen from this Gamecocks offense, Dave?
Sellers trying to find some running room. It's not there. Stacked up after minimal gain. And third down today has been good to South Carolina. 3 of 5 against the #1 third down defense in the country. Third and long has been good, surprisingly, to South Carolina today, and that's what they've got here.
Cassius Howell, sack leader in the SEC, bottom of the screen.
They're going to be conservative and hand it off. Fuller dropped after a gain of about 2 or 3 by Marcus Ratliff. And South Carolina just wanted to get points there to make it a 3-possession game.
Didn't want to drop back and potentially get sacked. They get bumped out of field goal range. With a 2-touchdown lead, Shane Beamer clearly saying, hey, we want to try to do our best to get points on the board and try to push this to a 3-score game.
William Joyce made a 36-yard field goal earlier. This is a 41-yard attempt. And the kick is good. And the lead is 17 for unranked 1-6 in conference South Carolina over number 3 A&M.
ESPN College Football, presented by Serve Pro, is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Fan work is thirsty work.
First home game in a month for Texas A&M. They had been on the road for 3 straight and a bye, but they are trailing to South Carolina as Lenore Sellers has really stepped it up.
And this was a perfectly placed ball to Vendravius Jacobs. And then how about the play we see from Dylan Stewart? And then it's the captain, the senior, Nick Barrett, the big man, scoops and scores for a thick 6, Dave Pasch. And all of a sudden, South Carolina finds themselves up 17 here in the second quarter.
When Shane Beamer has a 2-touchdown lead at South Carolina, they're 22-2. And this is the largest deficit faced by Texas A&M this season. Max Kelly booting it deep. There'll be another touchback. Let's go to Taylor.
Dave, there's frustration building on the Texas A&M sideline. To the offensive line, guys were saying, wake up, this is not us. And to their point, that group as a whole has been so good at preventing negative plays, but so far, 4 TFLs, 2 sacks, uncharacteristic for Texas A&M.
Yeah, they lead the SEC in fewest sacks allowed and lead the country in fewest tackles for loss allowed.
4 so far here today. 2 sacks for South Carolina. 2 other tackles for loss. They've been really good in short yardage run situations. It's a veteran, excellent offensive line. We'll see if they start to put it together.
Reed gets hit, the ball flutters, and it is tipped and almost picked off, but incomplete. Dylan Stewart again got pressure.
So Dylan Stewart is putting on a clinic. He's healthy. He was banged up against Ole Miss. The bye week has clearly helped him alive. Watch him work off this edge. Now, it's called a long arm. He's going to use his arm on the inside of the right tackle crown over, and he's going to shove him back inside and then work his other arm back over the top to work back inside. A lot of pressure coming from number 6 off these edges here early.
And Kilgore and Okoronkwo both had a chance to intercept Reed. Owen straight ahead, nothing there. Dragged down after a gain of maybe 2 by Johnson.
There's nowhere to go, Dave. It's good up front by the defensive line. Fred Johnson's flying downhill from that linebacker position. Clayton White told us he was trying to find anything he could to inspire and motivate this defense, and well, they have been highly motivated here early on in this game.
Again, look at those negative rushing yards because of the sacks and tackles for a loss surrendered. It's a huge third down, it feels like, here for Marcel Reed and company. He's got time, and his pass is dropped. Craver could not secure it. Incomplete. 4th down. Nothing going right for the Aggies. There is a flag down in the backfield.
Holding, number 55 on the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Well, Mario Craver does a really good job creating separation. You see Kilgore really backed off honoring that speed. Just a rare mishandled football by Mario Craver. He's got to catch a ball like that wide open. It's put right there on the frame, and he just drops it, Dave.
And now Tyler White to punt to the dangerous Bakari Swain, who has 3 punt returns for touchdowns this season. Leads the country. And it's a short punt. And it checks up and down to around the 40. So decent field position for South Carolina, up 17 as we go to Matt in the studio.
All right, Dave, another thing to keep an eye on with our AT&T countdown to the CFP National Championship, Wisconsin and Indiana. Carter Smith to Lance Mason on 4th and 1. And right now, Wisconsin is tied with Indiana late second quarter.
It was interesting, Matt. A lot of people thought Indiana should have been behind Texas A&M after that close win against Penn State. They're number 2, A&M number 3. Look at this score. Aggies down 17.
Well, Aggies actually have the #1 strength of record, though they come in number 3 from the committee. They are a dogfight here early in this ball game. Need their defense to find a way to get a stop here. Mentioned that last third down important for A&M. This possession is important for A&M defense.
Jet sweep, and they're all over Jaden Sellers. He'll end up losing 3. Could have lost 5 or 6. But that's exactly what this Texas A&M defense needed to start this drive.
Watch Damian Sanford. He's not falling for it. As you see motion come back across, and it's perfectly diagnosed by Damian Sanford. Last week's SEC Defensive Player of the Week. He doesn't get him down initially, but good rallying to the football to get Sellers to the ground.
And get South Carolina behind the sticks. Sellers through the hands of the offensive player and then almost ricocheted to the defender. Jacobs could not make the catch. It's 3rd down and 13.
Boy, this is an excellent throw from Lenore Sellers. He's had accuracy issues, no accuracy issues today, and especially on this play. This has got to be caught by Jacobs. Almost disaster there as it glances off an Aggies defender.
That was Will Lee who got a hand on it for Texas A&M. Play clock winding down for South Carolina. Sellers pitches it. And Jaden Sellers tackled near the line of scrimmage. That was the best defensive series for Texas A&M today, forcing a much-needed punt.
Good energy, good aggression, smart. You see Mike Furry not going to put the ball up in the air on 3rd and super long. Try to run just a little speed option with the motion man, Jaden Sellers. It's well diagnosed and a very important stop there. Quick 3 and out for this Aggies defense.
Now the offense needs to do something. Concepcion, dangerous return man, waiting for the Mason Love punt back at his 15-yard line. And a terrible kick that sails way over the heads of the A&M bench players. And so should be decent field position around the 30-yard line for Texas A&M when we come back to College Station. 3rd-ranked Aggies down 17. Today's Proven Performance is brought to you by Goodyear.
We talked about this front for South Carolina early. It's Brian Thomas with the effort. Undeniable to force the field goal. Dylan Stewart the last drive. You see the long arm inside. Pass deflection. And this is as big as it gets. Dylan Stewart shot out of a cannon. He's going to grab the running back, Marcel Reed, force the fumble as Nick Barrett barrels his way into the end zone.
Big possession for Texas A&M. Reed has it tipped and incomplete. What a great job by Concepcion. Because look, that was going to get picked off by Fred Johnson. Concepcion comes in and dislodges the ball.
Well, Fred Johnson's going to get a gift that he just doesn't want to receive. He's in perfect position, eyes on the quarterback. Marcel Reed never sees him. And you're exactly right, Dave. What a great job by Concepcion to go up and make sure that ball is knocked to the ground. Fred Johnson just unable to elevate and bring that in. And Concepcion saves the day and saves this drive.
Saves his quarterback, who has struggled today. Reed will send it out in space to Craver, and he's up to about the 36. The ball on the ground, but he recovered it. Well, Colin Klein is one of the bright young offensive coordinators in the country, now in his second year here with Texas A&M. We'll see what kind of adjustments are made as Marcel Reed, who coming into today fourth in Heisman odds, really struggled. 5 of 11 passing, a lost fumble that was returned for a touchdown, and a couple of near picks. Reed on 3rd and 4. And there was a lot of contact, and here comes a flag. Intended for Bethel Roman. He got knocked down by Brandon Cisse.
Pass interference on the defense, number 15. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Yeah, it's too much contact here from Cisse, bottom of your screen. As you see Bethel Roman come out of his break. Cisse basically tackles him to the ground and easily draws the flag.
It's only the 4th first down for Texas A&M today. One of the top offenses in the country. And that one there via penalty. Ball on their 44-yard line. Reed play fake, pressure into space, and he throws incomplete, trying to hit Bethel Roman. Again, South Carolina able to get defenders to the quarterback.
Nick Barrett inside. Veteran defensive tackle, one of the real leaders of this defense, does a good job with that inside pressure. This defensive line is having itself a ball game. And they're going up against a Joe Moore Award semifinalist. That goes to the best offensive line in football. One of the most veteran groups, continuity. And South Carolina dominating this matchup here early.
Reed's pass in traffic, juggled again, and incomplete again. Jalen Kilgore jumped the route intended for Concepcion. 3rd time there could have easily been an interception for the Gamecocks.
This is great anticipation by Jalen Kilgore. He sees this all the way, and this pass kind of floated out there. And Jalen Kilgore gets his hands on the football. He's lucky that wasn't a pick six, Dave.
You feel like Reed is forcing it right now, feeling the pressure a little bit maybe?
I think that was just, he was designed to get the ball out. He was throwing it there, trying to go nice and easy, and Kilgore was one step ahead.
They go empty set on 3rd and 10. Reed is now 5 for 13 passing. Has time to throw. Everybody covered. Reed trying to take off and dragged down after a gain of maybe 2 by Brian Thomas Jr. And Texas A&M is going to have to punt the ball.
Well, there's going to be nobody whatsoever open here. Protection is good initially. Protection's clean. He's got a good pocket. But look down the field. No one's open. Everybody's covered. Everybody's accounted for. This really good defense. Brian Thomas comes off that block late and gets Reed to the ground.
Another punt for Tyler White. Going to try to pin South Carolina deep. This kick will roll down to about the 11-yard line. Well, coming up on ABC this afternoon at 3:30. A lot of playoff implications in both the 3:30 and the 7:30 Eastern games on ABC, with Alabama taking on Oklahoma, followed by Texas at Georgia.
What a lineup today. My goodness. Doesn't get any bigger and better than that. Oklahoma, Alabama. Since the AP poll era, no teams, no programs have won more games in college football. That defense of Oklahoma against Ty Simpson and that offense. It's going to be a great one there. And with Georgia, Texas, we saw that matchup twice last year. Georgia had Texas' number. See if Sark's got something in store with an extra week to prepare.
Faison on 1st down, wrestled to the ground after maybe 1. For New York on the stop.
What's interesting, that's the first time we've seen Faison get the ball. We've seen more Jawarn Howell today, Matt Fuller, again, new play caller, and Mike Furry, maybe giving some opportunities to some other guys in practice. We've seen some decent success on the ground here in this first half from South Carolina.
69 rushing yards for South Carolina. -9 for Texas A&M. They'll keep it on the ground with Faison. And he's able to break a tackle and another one. Faison across the 30 and all the way to the 34. What an incredible run. Breaking tackles, dragging defenders for a 22-yard gain.
Just keep those legs churning. Faison unwilling to go down. He's met in the hole by Sanford. And there's 2 Aggies defenders on him, but he just keeps driving the legs. A nice pickup.
Sellers off play action, long throw. There's a flag down. It was caught by Mazio Bennett Jr.
Personal foul. Illegal block below the waist. Number 44 on the offense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
It's a big penalty by Maurice Brown, the second of South Carolina. Texas A&M hoping to get the ball back. 3 timeouts. The official 2-minute timeout. They will get the ball to start the second half. They trail by 17, their largest deficit of the season. First and 25 now for South Carolina. Faison again powering his way forward. Gain of about 4.
It's interesting. Even on that little 4-yard gain, they're getting push up front. The South Carolina offensive line, who's had all kinds of struggles this year in the run game and protection, and they have really stepped their game up here early in this ball game.
Giving up the most sacks in the country, but none yet for A&M. And they can't get after Sellers here. He throws high, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Dalton Brooks. Now a flag down. Brooks still running, and all the way down to the 6-yard line. Boy, did Texas A&M need that. Flag was thrown during the return.
The result of the play was an interception by Texas A&M. First down, Texas A&M. Sideline warning against Texas A&M.
Well, this is exactly what the Aggies needed. As you're going to see Lenore Sellers try to hit his tight end, Maurice Brown. He's just going to work his way right up inside, but then the safety over the top. Dalton Brooks, this is a poor pass by Sellers. Behind, high, off the hand of Brown, into the hands of Dalton Brooks. Really good return after the interception, setting Marcel Reed up inside the 10.
First and goal. Reed on the run. And gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Boy, today, Dusty, we've seen a lot of Lenore Sellers' 2024 version. That last pass was this year's version.
That's his worst play we've seen so far. Just a crucial mistake here before halftime. Behind and high of his intended target. And it's a huge takeaway for Texas A&M. I think it's very important that the Aggies cash in here and for a touchdown.
Reed will throw. End zone pass. Concepcion can't hang on. Another drop. We saw Craver put it on the ground on the last drive, and Concepcion just coughed up a touchdown.
This is wild. I mean, these have been the 2 most reliable targets for Texas A&M all year. That ball right in his hands. Just unable to bring it in. I mean, you can't throw it any better. You can't have a better opportunity to pay off that turnover. And a big drop by Concepcion.
Now it's 3rd and goal at the 6. Reed pumps, fires high, incomplete, over the head of Concepcion. You got to wonder with the drops if just squeezing the ball a little too tight, feeling the pressure, trailing by 17. It's a big stand by South Carolina to force a field goal.
Huge stand by South Carolina. I mean, you get the ball inside the 10 prime real estate after that interception to come up and be able to get this stop. It's huge, and sometimes you need some luck, aided by that big drop by Concepcion.
No, Bond missed the 45-yard attempt earlier. This is a lot shorter, 24 yards. And it hits the upright, and it's no good. Oh, my goodness. What a disaster for A&M after they get the takeaway. Have first and goal on the 6. A drop touchdown, and now a horrible kick. And it remains 20-3.
Well, if you want a recipe of how an upset brews, it's mistakes like we're seeing from the Aggies. Now, the second missed kick, and this one a chip shot gimme. Doink off the left upright. And the kicking woes continue for Randy Vaughn. Wow, to come up with no points after that takeaway. That's somewhat devastating for Texas A&M.
I mean, you had a chance to get it within 10. You're going to get the ball back to start the third quarter. Who knows? You still might get one more possession this half. There's plenty of time with 3 timeouts and the 2-minute timeout to get a stop and get the ball back. But now South Carolina's back on offense. Sellers' last pass was picked off, but it does not cost the Gamecocks. Sellers keeping it, trying to run to the perimeter, and runs out of room and loses yardage. Des Ricks forces him out. A loss of about 2. That'll take us to the 2-minute timeout. 3 unbeatens left in college football. Ohio State, Indiana, and Texas A&M. But the Aggies in trouble late in the first half, down 17 at home to unranked South Carolina.
I'm Matt Berry. Coming up in the Avocados from Mexico halftime report. Wisconsin is badgering Indiana early. We'll keep an eye on that upset alert. Plus Oklahoma, some big injuries today in their big game against Alabama. And the stars early on for Notre Dame are showing out on a Saturday. The big one against Pitt. Look at his one-handed grab. That is absolutely special. A bit of a back and forth there, but Notre Dame jumped out early. EJ and Joey joining me coming up at the half.
All right, Matt. So as you mentioned with Indiana, you get 2 of the top 3 in the country struggling in the first halves of their games, and Sellers with another poor throw, trying to hit Brian Rowe. 1:57 left, 3rd and 11, plenty of time for Texas A&M if they can get the stop and get the ball back. South Carolina 3 of 7 on 3rd down in this game. They were 3 of 4, so they're 0 for the last 3 against the #1 3rd down defense in college football.
And a big reason why it's the pass rush. Cassius Howe, top of your screen. Deion Hayes, the other quality rusher, bottom of your screen.
Sellers long pass, not even close. Not on the same page with Jacobs, so it's a quick 3 and out for South Carolina after the missed field goal from A&M.
And clearly their miscommunication from Sellers and Jacobs. He expected Jacobs to break out on his route. Jacobs turns in, and that pass sails well wide of his intended target. Well done there by the Aggies defense.
Well, Mason Love will punt it away to the terrific return man, K.C. Concepcion. He's got 2 punt returns for touchdowns this season. A short punt, but it bounces right to Concepcion. He turns it upfield. And all the way down to the 38-yard line. So excellent field position with plenty of time. Dave Pasch, Dusty Dvorak, Taylor McGregor with you. All the things that have gone wrong today for Texas A&M, Dusty, were all the things that went right.
Yes.
The first 9 games of the season.
Execution, making layups when they're there, and that's been the problem so far for A&M, whether it's dropped passes, it's missed field goals, it's turnovers. And it gives South Carolina a lot of credit, though. The line of scrimmage, which this A&M team has been a line of scrimmage team, that has been a massive advantage to South Carolina so far in this first half.
Yeah, Dylan Stewart, one of the guys you talked about earlier in the game, has been wreaking havoc on the D-line for South Carolina.
Coming Coming away with points, Dave, in this drive, I think is so important for Texas A&M before half. Build some momentum going in there for Mike Elko and his squad.
Reed in trouble, though, and is able to find his check down. Owens is wide open. Ruben Owens picked up and dropped at the 14 after a 24-yard pickup.
Well, this is well done here by Marcel Reed. Okoronkwo is going to come unaccosted right up the middle, and just to buy enough time to find Ruben Owens coming as a check down is absolutely huge. Good poise in the pocket by Reed, and find your outlet.
Reed takes a shot, it's underthrown, and it's intercepted by Bakari Swain. He had been living dangerously with some bad passes that were not picked off earlier in the quarter, but this time Swain got him.
I got to wonder, Dave, I'm just going to ask the question, does the wind have anything to do with this here? Remember how windy it was early? Because this ball doesn't have nearly enough on it. Here's Swain right here, and you're going to see him just read the quarterback's eyes. He's sitting back in zone coverage. Speed turn, ball right into his hands. I mean, that ball was massively underthrown to Mario Craver. And just a unbelievably costly turnover for Marcel Reed once again. This is a disaster of a half for a quarterback that was number 4 in the Heisman Trophy conversation coming in today.
I don't know what's worse, the wind or the pressure that's getting to Marcel Reed right now. Oscar Attaway in the game for South Carolina at running back. See if the Gamecocks play it conservatively here. Sellers flipping it across the middle for a first down. Harbor's got great speed. The track star is free. Inside the 30. Inside the 10. Into the end zone. Touchdown, South Carolina. Nick Harbor holding his leg, and he continues into the tunnel after he outruns defenders for an 80-yard touchdown to make it 26-3.
That is track speed from the big man, Nick Harbor. No shots of anybody catching him. One of the fastest track competitors in the SEC last year. He gave up track, went all in on football this season. He's continued to improve, 5'2" in his game. And wow, an exclamation point here before half for Harbor in South Carolina.
And you have to wonder, with the point after, even though there's a ton of time left after first and goal in the 6 and getting no points, and then a pick in the end zone, if A&M can overcome those mistakes.
We're going to find out. Watch the route. Okay, he's going to sit down in the zone, and it's going to be a good find from Lenore Sellers, and this is just poor tackling. You've got to do a better job as the safety. Dalton Brooks comes down, and he's got to get Nick Harbor on the ground. You cannot miss that tackle and allow a player with the speed of Nick Harbor to get into the open field and take it to the house. You can live with the catch, Dave, but it's the safety's job to get that receiver on the ground. Flat out misses, and Nick Harbor, man, did he make them pay.
296 yards of total offense. And again, the South Carolina team with just one win. Now they played Alabama tight as the fair catch is made, so it's going to be a touchback. They lost to the Crimson Tide after leading in the second half. But other than that, they have not been in many close games of late. And coaching change at offensive coordinator, 4 straight losses since the win against Kentucky. But what a turnaround here on the road against A&M.
Shocking. I mean, this is a shocking situation we're watching unfold right here in front of us. But one thing I'll say, South Carolina, they got dudes. They got playmakers. Dylan Stewart, you see the speed of Nick Harbor, and their playmakers are making plays. A&M's are not.
And Stewart with pressure. Reed in trouble, gets away from the defender. And the pass incomplete. It was Troy Pikes that benefited from Dylan Stewart's double team there, getting to the quarterback.
I mean, we got to give South Carolina a ton of the credit, but these miscues have been very real all throughout the day for Texas A&M. The offensive line, yet another miscue, a game up front. They allow the inside pass rusher to come loose, and just more pressure for Marcel Reed.
He's 1 for his last 10 passing. Reed stepping up, launching it high. It's intercepted by Swain again. Swain running it back all the way down to the 22. 35 seconds left. An opportunity for the Gamecocks to add to a 27-3 lead. What has happened to Marcel Reed here in the first half?
He's missing and missing badly. He's got Casey Concepcion coming wide open on an in-cutting route, and he just airmails it, Dave. I mean, he just misses his throw, steps up in the pocket, completely misfires, and Bakari Swain's right there for yet another takeaway for the South Carolina defense, who was tied for the most in the SEC coming in. Now 3 turnovers they've created here in this first half, and boy, the just disaster of a half continues for Marcel Reed. I mean, he's got an open man, and he just misses.
Sellers looking for the kill shot. Takes off. And he's hugging the sideline and did not go out until he got to the 9. So it's 1st and goal. They have 3 timeouts and 24 seconds to get into the end zone.
And that's just poor contained by Texas A&M. Nice job there with the pump fake from Lenore Sellers. He freezes the safety Ratcliffe coming down and able to get to the perimeter and set up 1st and goal with 24 seconds left.
Sellers able to hit his tight end Brady Hunt. They're going to have to call timeout, but they're not. Clock is running. A little surprised. Shane Beamer took an extra 5 seconds off the clock before he called for time. Well, it's been a half of major mistakes for Texas A&M, starting with the missed field goal. Then you have the forced fumble by Stewart. Barrett picks it up, returns for a touchdown. Then you have Concepcion dropping a touchdown. Then another missed field goal. And then you have 2 interceptions. One in the end zone.
Poorly underthrown ball there, and this one overthrown. Bakari Swain, the benefactor on both of those errant throws by Marcel Reed.
And that's how we got here to 27-3 with 11 seconds left. South Carolina still with 2 timeouts, so 2, maybe 3 more plays to try to get it into the end zone here. And obviously, if it gets to 4th and goal, they can just kick it and get 3 more points. Sellers in trouble and just going to throw it away. There is a flag down. 6 seconds remaining.
Holding, number 78 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 2nd down.
Be interesting to see here if you're Shane Beamer. It's 3rd down. Do you say, you know what, let's kick it?
I thought he would. If not, I expect them to keep it on the ground. And then, yeah, but they would. That makes the most sense.
If you have
your points.
Yeah. Or if you have a bad snap, you can fall on the ball, call timeout.
Absolutely. Makes all the sense in the world. Try to take a 27-point lead, a 27-point lead into halftime on the road against the number 3 team in the country, who's been undefeated up until this point.
William Joyce 2 for 3 on field goals so far in the game. This is a 35-yard attempt. Check that, 2 for 2. And he nails another one. So with 2 seconds left in the first half, it is 30-3 South Carolina. Take a look at this week's college football playoff bracket, brought to you by Goodyear. Obviously, Texas A&M in the top 3 because of the unbeaten record. And you got 4 SEC teams in. The margin for error is very little for A&M to get to the SEC title game. Almost every scenario they have to win out to get in. But if this continues and it's a blowout, I mean, where does the committee put them?
No telling. I mean, there's a lot of football left to be played, so depending on what other things happen will obviously impact where they fall. But nothing other than a shocking opening 30 minutes can be said about what we've seen here at College Station. I mean, this meeting with the staff and players yesterday, Dave, I mean, confident. I mean, they were in a great place, and nothing would lead us to believe we would get this type of performance here in the first half.
Bussey returns it, and the half comes to an end. The third-ranked, you got a flag down. There's a penalty marker down. Third-ranked Texas A&M has played 7 of the bottom 8 teams in the SEC. They have played Texas at the end of the year, but no Georgia, no Alabama, no Oklahoma, no Ole Miss. I'm not sure it mattered who they played today because they're killing themselves.
Foul, blow to the head, number 13 on the kicking team. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the second half kickoff. It is halftime.
And A&M will get the ball to start the second half. Entering today, trailed by only 31 minutes, and obviously trailed for most of the first half today, and down 27 as Mike Elko now stops by to talk to Taylor.
Coach, Marcel Reed not playing like the player we've seen all season. How do you get him into a rhythm?
Yeah, we got to find some easy throws for him. We got to create separation. We got to catch the football. We got to be able to run the football. A lot of things we got to fix.
How will you address the physicality at half?
We're going to get better.
Thank you, Coach. Dave?
One of the biggest shocks of the 2025 season is this halftime score. 1-6 in conference play. South Carolina blowing out number 3 Texas A&M at halftime. Avocados from Mexico halftime report. Matt, Joey, EJ, make this make sense. Number 3 Texas A&M getting blown out at home 30-3 at halftime. What an all-around performance by South Carolina. Nick Barrett with a scoop and score on defense. Nick Harbor outrunning defenders for South Carolina, and Marcel Reed playing his worst game maybe of his life. Dave Pasch, Dusty Dvorak, Taylor McGregor. Texas A&M 30 minutes to go to try to avoid what would be the biggest upset in college football this season.
I thought coming into today, based off what I'd seen, that Texas A&M could win a national championship.
Bussey returns it past the 40-yard line.
And nothing we've seen today would lead you to believe that. South Carolina played the best half they've played all year. On the flip side, A&M played by far their most disappointing half of all season. Don't even resemble the team they put on film for 9 games.
Number 88 on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Texas A&M.
Tough penalty to take after you had good field position, and the penalty at the end of the half that changed the kickoff line. First half stats brought to you by Tums. Lenora Sellers had the 1 interception. Otherwise, he played great.
Yes.
Reed just 6 of 19, 2 picks. It could have been 4 or 5.
This looked like the Lenora Sellers that people were talking about as a Heisman front runner, the potential #1 overall pick. They got him involved with his legs. Over 200 yards accounted for. And Marcel Reed, just no confidence throwing the football. He's got the 3 turnovers, and it could have been 6. At least 2 to 3 other passes could have been picked up. He's got to take better care of the ball here in this second half.
But a long way to go. Can Reed bring him back? Another juggle. This time it's caught by Concepcion. He dropped the touchdown in the first half. Let's go to Taylor McGregor.
Physicality on the line of scrimmage and stopping the run is what Shane Beamer said has to continue if South Carolina wants to pull off this upset. Texas A&M had -9 rushing yards in the first half, and Shane Beamer said that is the difference in this game. As for the offensive play call coming from Mike Furry, he's really impressed with the way he's been able to idolize or figure out Texas A&M's defense. But first down, the only thing that he says would like to improve.
Furry calling plays after Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator for South Carolina, was fired 2 weeks ago going into the bye week. Reed guns it over the middle, and the catch is made in South Carolina territory by Concepcion. Well, this is Not unusual for a Shane Beamer coach team, though, since taking over 5 years ago. 6-1 in November against ranked teams. 3 of those wins against top 10. And they got number 3 on the ropes here.
He told us it's been an emotional year. There's been all kinds of issues and struggles on the field, but he told us the culture is strong. This team would be ready to play, and they preach finish. And as he told us, his mantra here this week, they still remember November, and an opportunity for this team to do something special here today. They've put themselves in position with that first half.
Trying to get the ground game going with Morrow, and he gets about 9 on the play. Good opening possession for Texas A&M.
And they pull the center, pull the left tackle, and get up to the second level. This is the offensive line that you've seen on film. Good downhill running there on first down.
Another run play, and it's a first down. There's a flag down. Owens tackled at the 25, but thrown in the area of offensive holding.
Going to be on 78 crown over, Dave.
Holding, number 78 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
And it's Dylan Stewart over here working on the edge, and he was so impactful in that first half. His length has really given all kinds of issues in that first half. And get that right and left hand up on the shoulder pad. When you see the jersey tug when the defender tries to separate, that typically draws the flag.
Penalties just killing Texas A&M here early in the third after all the other miscues in the first half. So it's second down and 12 after the spot foul. Reed in trouble, and a dangerous throw in traffic. Bethel Roman appeared to be the intended receiver, though Mellon Orstrom was also in the area. Now it's third down and 12, and feels like you're in 4-down territory here early in the third quarter, trailing by 27 in plus territory.
A&M has yet to convert on a third down today. 0 for 6 in that first half. And I totally agree with you. This does feel like, oh, it's early. It feels like 4-down territory for this Aggies offense.
Reed, another high pass over the head of Mellon Orstrom. Now it's 4th and 12.
I don't know about 4th and 12, Dave. If you had picked up half that, cut it in half, then I see it. But the offense is staying out there. You can, I mean, that just tells you the desperation that Mike Elko already knows this team is in to start this second half.
Plus, they haven't been able to stop South Carolina, so even if they punt it, there's no guarantee they're going to not give up more points.
Casey Concepcion, go-to player. This type of situations.
Trying to keep their unbeaten season alive with a 4th and 12. Reed in trouble, steps up, takes off, has to make the defender miss. He does, and he got the first down. Really the first time we've seen Reed use his legs in a positive way in this game.
He is so sudden and dynamic as a runner. Freeze it right here, guys. He locates it, sees it, and then Fred Johnson, zero, comes up, and he's hugging air.
Will that provide a spark? Owens, and what a play by Swain as he was getting blocked. Just got a piece of room at Owens the second, and it's a short game.
I'd like to see some more of that in the second half from Marcel Reed.
Flag down.
His speed and suddenness and ability to make guys miss is almost impossible to account for defensively.
Legal substitution on the defense. 12 players on the field when the ball was snapped. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
I'm with you on the Marcel Reed running. He only had 4 carries in the first half, and 2 of those were sacks, so the other 2 were scrambles. He's very dangerous as a runner, as we know.
We talked to Clayton White, defensive coordinator for South Carolina. He said that's what scares him the most about Marcel Reed.
Especially since the throw game hasn't worked for Reed today. Well, they keep getting him involved in the run game. He'll throw it here. And he takes a shot, and it's caught for a touchdown by Isaiah Williams. Finally. And it's a player that hadn't even caught a pass this year, Isaiah Williams, that gets Texas A&M on the board with a touchdown. Marcel Reed, though, kept that drive alive on 4th and 12 with a 16-yard scramble. It's 30-10, South Carolina.
Well, I love the play design from Colin Klein. Motion Isaiah Williams over all the way across the formation. You see the safety rolled out with him. Now freeze it. This route's going to eat up the safety. Now let's run the wheel over the top. And the corner, Collier, he gets flat-footed. Williams gets past him. And finally, a dime delivered for Marcel Reed. Some momentum out of halftime for the Aggies as they get their first touchdown on the board here today.
Texas A&M and Alabama atop the SEC standings, both at 6-0. Alabama hosts Oklahoma coming up on ABC. Georgia, Ole Miss, and Texas all with one loss. Texas plays Georgia tonight on ABC. And A&M has to come back and win this game to make the SEC title game for all intents and purposes. Almost all the tiebreakers would not go their way. They also play Texas at the end of the season on Black Friday. Kickoff into the end zone. For a touchback. Let's check in with Taylor.
Dave, Marcel Reed showing incredible leadership here on the sideline. After that touchdown, he came to the sideline and coaches reminded him to trust himself. That's exactly what he did right here. But then following this, he gathered his entire offense up and reminded them who they are. They are Texas A&M. They're the #3 team in the country, and they want to play like it right here.
He is their leader without question, and a terrific player who had a bad half, but a nice bounce back with that run on 4th down and the touchdown pass. How will Lenore Sellers respond for South Carolina? Rolling out on 1st down is Sellers, and flipping it downfield to Jaden Sellers. His brother making the catch and out of bounds for a 25-yard gain.
Well, it's an excellent route here by Jaden Sellers. He's going to be on Tyreek Chappelle. And I thought Chappelle even had a little hold there. Good touch on the football from Lenore to his brother Jake.
Sellers over 200 passing yards. He did that last year in a blowout win against Texas A&M. He also rushed for 100 yards in that win over then number 10 Texas A&M. That derailed the Aggie season last year. Trying to do it again in 2025. No running room to the right, so cutting it back is Fuller, and down he goes. Loss on the play of 3 with Searcy making the hit.
But it's Onyedem. Watch this, Dave. Penetration kills the run game. Watch how vertical Onyedem gets up. He knocks off that puller of Stanley and helps create that tackle for loss for Searcy.
Sellers throws it deep, and it's well overthrown. The only person who had a chance at it is Dalton Brooks. And now it is 3rd down and 13.
Well, I can tell you, this defense, they licked their chops for 3rd down. Haven't had the same success today. But you see a platoon change. They're going to dial up pressure. And it's about to get loud here at Kyle Field.
Now we've got an official timeout. Could they be discussing potential intentional grounding on that last throw?
There is no foul for intentional grounding on the previous play.
Okay, so you just heard that there was no intentional grounding.
Not showing pressure here. They're sitting back. Cassius Howell, top of your screen.
They rush 4. Sellers in trouble. Steps away from pressure. Takes off. Has the first first down. And then he gets to the ground at the 39-yard line. A 14-yard run on 3rd and 13.
Well, you better have good pass rush lanes, and he's going to come inside. It's going to open up a hole off the right side for Lenore Sellers. Nobody able to account for that, and Lenore Sellers relies on his legs, trusts them, and what a clutch pickup on 3rd down.
He's played his best game of the season here today on the road. Lenore Sellers, preseason first-team All-SEC. Quick throw to the sideline. Jacobs wrapped up at the 36-yard line, a 3-yard gain. Will Lee on the stop.
It's a good job by Will Lee getting Jacobs to the ground. He almost spun out of that attempted tackle. Saw some poor tackling in that first half for Texas A&M.
Give to Fuller. York takes him down at the 32, but that's 4 yards. So it's going to be 3rd down and short. Biggest play of the game here for Texas A&M's defense.
Not keeping the ball in the hands of Lenore Sellers. 3rd and short situation. He's been really good, tough to tackle. Having as big an impact as a runner in this game as we've seen potentially all season. I like keeping the football in his hands.
Sellers got the first down on that 3rd and 13 a moment ago. They'll hand it off, and short of the line to gain is Matt Fuller. It's going to be 4th and 1. Dalton Brooks on the tackle. A decision to make here for Shane Beamer.
Keeping the offense on the field. I like the decision. And I'm keeping it, I'll say it again. I'm keeping it with 16. He's 240 pounds. Tough to tackle.
They spread it out on 4th and 1. Play clock inside of 5 seconds, and South Carolina is going to use a timeout. Midway point of the 4th quarter. South Carolina leading by 20, facing a 4th down and 1 when we return to Kyle Field. Back at Texas A&M, the national championship trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. The last time the Aggies won it was in the late 30s. Their undefeated season on the line right now, trailing by 20. The Taco Bell Lidmoss Student Section, only one can claim the title. Lidmoss Student Section of the Year. 4th down and 1 for South Carolina at the 30-yard line of Texas A&M. And he landed on a teammate, Matt Fuller did. He lunged forward, but still appears to be short. It's going to be Texas A&M ball.
You got it. Well, penetration kills short yardage plays. And it's excellent penetration on the inside by this Aggies front. Watch this right here. It's going to create a pile. Inside, it's going to get low. Almost nosedive, creates a pile right there, and there's nowhere to go with the football. Also well done by Damian Sanford. As we see him trying to reach it over, he's on top of a teammate, but he's well short of the first down. What a stop for this Aggies defense. I'm surprised we didn't see on either one of those 2 plays on 3rd or 4th down, they didn't keep the ball in the hands of Lenore Sellers.
And now Marcel Reed, confident after that touchdown pass on the last drive, goes back to work. Stepping up in the pocket, and Reed dumping it off to his tight end. Forfeiture able to lower the boom on the defender and pick up 7 yards.
Wow, Forfeiture finishes this off at the end, lowering the shoulder and running through Okoronkwo Well, the momentum has really shifted to the Aggies there.
And now straight ahead, first down run for Rueben Owens. Been a quiet day for Owens, just 9 rushing yards before that play, coming off 2 100-yard games in his last 5. Still plenty of time for Texas A&M, a quarter and a half to go. They trailed 30-3 at halftime. Owens again up the gut. And about 4 yards before he's tackled by Sean Murphy.
Really impressed watching him on film. The explosiveness, the power downhill, also natural hands, catches the ball very well. Hasn't had a big impact here today, but what nice runs here early in this second half.
A&M trailed by 14 in the first quarter, their largest deficit of the year. They were down 27. They're now down 20. And Reed taken off on second down. Okoronkwo able to catch up to him. And Kilgore dives on as well. But Reed kept the feet moving, got an extra yard, a gain of 5. 3rd down and 2.
Smart play there by Marcel Reed. He's felt pressure, saw a little space open up off the left side. And it's a nice pickup to set up 3rd and very manageable. E.J. Smith, he's their short yardage back. I'd expect them to give it to him here. He's converted on some crucial 3rd and 4th down situations this season.
4-down territory for Texas A&M at midfield. Reed to pass instead. Pressure off the edge. And another drop. This time it's Bethel Roman. A handful of drops in the first half, including a touchdown drop by Concepcion, and now Bethel Roman puts it on the ground. It would have been a 1st down.
Well, just a shallow crossing route. He's wide open, and if he catches this in stride, Dave, I don't know. He's got a lot of green grass out in front. Instead, a very important 4th down here for Texas A&M.
They need to get to the 48 of South Carolina. Reed to pass. And he's got a man. Bussey made the catch. He secures it as he goes to the ground. They pick up 4th and 2. A gain of 11 for Terry Bussey.
Well, bunch set on the near side. Watch Bussey. He's going to start in, and he's going to work over the top, and he's going to find open space. I like the patience here by Marcel Reed. Allow that to clear the linebackers, come open, and find his open target.
He has as many completions this quarter as he had the entire first half, Marcel Reed. Back to throw again. Stepping up, taking a shot, and it is caught! Bethel Roman, touchdown, Texas A&M! What a bounce back by Marcel Reed. The Heisman candidate coming alive at home in the second half. Did that ball move at all as he went to the ground and rolled out of bounds? They're not going to look at it any further. And the point after is good. And Texas A&M back within 13 with 4:18 to go in the 3rd.
Well, Peyton Williams going to be the safety. He's going to clear out and get up here. It's going to be about Swain and about the vertical here by Ashton Bethel Roman, and he never slows down. You see Bakari Swain, he's kind of flat-footed. He's waiting in zone coverage. Bethel Roman is sprinting down the field. Marcel Reed dropping dimes, and the Aggies back in this ball game.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by ServPro, the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive Game of the Week. It was 30-3 South Carolina over undefeated and number 3 Texas A&M. On the day, there were reports that Mike Elko's getting this huge extension to stay. But A&M comes back scoring touchdowns on their first 2 drives. Nick Harbor on the return for South Carolina at an 80-yard touchdown in the first half. And a nice return here to the 35. Matt Berry in the studio.
All right, Dave Pass, got a couple things for you. One, we're taking Indiana off upset alert. Why? Because of this. Fernando Mendoza now a program record touchdown passes in a season. They have righted the ship all over Wisconsin, 31-7.
And Indiana, number 2. Texas A&M, number 3. And Lenore Sellers, who played great in the first half. Pressure now on his shoulders to respond. 2 touchdown passes. He had 7 the first 9 games of the year, after 18 a year ago. And the projected first-round pick will hand it off, and Faison is dropped for no gain. Tyler Onyedum with the hit.
Well, Onyedum was excellent last week. He's going to work inside, then watch over the top. Sanford come as well. Onyedum is really starting to own the line of scrimmage in the second half. He's got big penetration I showed you earlier, and there he is playing in the backfield on that first down run.
Sellers. Catch is made, but not much. Jacobs tackled by Ricks. Going to be 3rd down and about 6.
As a defense, you got to have vision on the quarterback here on 3rd down. You've got to be aware, second-level defenders, if he breaks the pocket, if he finds some space, he's going to look to run. They didn't account for that in the last drive on 3rd down. Will they here?
Pressure coming, Sellers rolling out, sideline pass, incomplete. 4th down and 6, and Texas A&M's going to get it back. Nick Harbor, the intended receiver, shaken up over on the South Carolina bench. So Mason Love will punt it away. Casey Concepcion, one of the best return men in college football. 2 punt returns for touchdowns. Really hasn't had a chance yet in this game. See if Love kicks it to him or away from him. Tries to kick it away from him, and it will roll into the end zone for a touchback, just barely.
Well, it's been a day for Marcel Reed. First half was about as bad as we've seen from Marcel Reed. Off target, turnovers, interceptions, missing the mark time and time again. But the second half has been a completely different story. That the first touchdown to Isaiah Williams, and on the last possession, finding Ashton Bethel-Roman up the seam. What I love to find out about players, character, Dave, what happens when you face adversity? What a response here in the second half from Marcel Reed.
Got the hot hand. Everybody covered. A flag down. Reed takes off, and wow, that was tipped by Fred Johnson. See what the penalty's about. Back to your point on Marcel Reed. It's a young man that last year.
Holding, number 78 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
It's on Cron over the right tackle. But last year was battling with Connor Wigman for the starting job. Didn't have it early on, then eventually got it. But Texas A&M struggled down the stretch. Lost 4 of their last 5. There was some talk, would he even be the quarterback in 2025? And here he is, number 4. And the Heisman odds coming into this game. Brutal first half, but great response by the redshirt sophomore from Nashville, Tennessee. But now off schedule after the holding call. Back to throw off play action from his 3-yard line, and it's caught. Bethel-Roman running away from defenders. Will they catch him? They finally do as he's tripped up near the 15-yard line. He got hurt on the play. A 75-yard catch and run. And now Bethel-Roman writhing in pain.
What a second half here from Ashton Bethel-Roman. And he is an explosive playmaker, as a lot of these receivers are. He's averaging over 20 yards a catch, leading this team coming into today. And puts him over 100 yards on the day. And this was a bit dangerous, Dave. You had two guys in one spot, Ashton Bethel-Roman and Casey Concepcion. But Ashton Bethel-Roman able to break coverage, show off that speed, and a shoestring tackle down the field, and they continue to tend to him down on the field.
Okoronkwo saves a touchdown here because Bethel-Roman had turned down the Jets, and he was running away from defenders. And then Kilgore got enough of him to get him to the ground. Okoronkwo first, slowed him down maybe a tad, and then Kilgore with the trip up. But here's South Carolina on the 14, or A&M on the South Carolina 14-yard line, looking to get within one score, and we're still in the third quarter.
When Mike Elko brought in Colin Klein, this is what he anticipated. An explosive, high-powered offense. They added Mario Craver. They added Casey Concepcion. You're seeing Ashton Bethel-Roman, Terry Bussey. They've got a lot of speed, and one of the most explosive offenses in the SEC is woken up here in the second half.
They go empty set here for Marcel Reed. 8 of 11, 2 touchdowns in the second half. He'll step back and fire. It's caught. It's a touchdown. Borkinger makes it a one-score game. Third-quarter touchdown passes for Marcel Reed, and the Aggies are back. An embarrassing first half, down 30-3 at home. 20 unanswered points in 13 minutes, and looking to add one more. It is 30-24. With a ton of time left.
What a third quarter coming out of the half from Texas A&M and Marcel Reed. Now it's the tight end, Nate Borkinger. You're going to see him just run right up the seam here. I want you to pay attention to the linebacker, 17, Justin Okoronkwo. When Reed kind of head fakes in, he freezes that backer. Nobody gets over the top. It's a wide open Borkinger, and it's a walk-in touchdown for Texas A&M. I love the play design. Colin Klein. I told you coming into this game, watching this offense on film, I think he's one of the bright young offensive coordinators in college football. And boy, has he been dialing up some ball plays here in this third quarter. Some wide open targets for Marcel Reed, his third touchdown of this quarter.
Trying to get to 10-0 would be their first 10-win season since 2012 when Johnny Manziel won the Heisman. The number 3 unbeaten Aggies, one of 3 teams undefeated left, along with Indiana and Ohio State. Almost certainly have to win today and beat Texas to make it to their first ever SEC championship game. And now the pressure on Lenore Sellers again with this place rocking, and Texas A&M back within a score.
There's a lot of great venues in college football. This is right there at the very top. And nobody left at halftime, down 27. Every seat accounted for. And this place is on fire with the way the Aggies have responded here in this third quarter.
Faison pitching it on the reverse. Jaden Sellers up the field, and he gets a first down before he's knocked out of bounds. A gain of 12 to the 37-yard line.
They are really using Jaden Sellers a lot. True freshman, brother of Lenoris. He was hurt. He missed the Ole Miss game, but Mike Furry calling plays today, receivers coach, giving a lot of opportunity to his talented young wide receiver. Nice job picking up that first down by Sellers.
Handoff, Faison in trouble in the backfield, and down he goes for a loss. Torian York, their leader on defense, 3-year starter in the backfield to greet the running back.
He said yesterday, you can call me Captain Rourke, because he is the captain, he is the leader Really nice job diagnosing that play, getting downhill.
Loss of 1, 2nd down and 11. Final minute of the 3rd quarter. South Carolina 3-6, 1-6 in conference play. 27-point lead over the 3rd-ranked Aggies at halftime. It's down to 6. And a whistle, timeout.
South Carolina, they're second. This will be a 30-second timeout.
We could be heading for a close finish. Now they're down to 1 timeout for the rest of the 2nd half. But boy, as poorly as Texas A&M played in the 1st half, just a complete turnaround in the 2nd half. A ton of credit to Mike Elko, who, again, the reports are he got a huge contract extension, making one of the top 5 coaches, highest paid coaches in the country.
And he should be, and it's smart to keep him regardless of the outcome of this game. He's an excellent coach. You want to keep him in College Station. But the response of this football team, I mean, it's remarkable. And this is the team I told you I thought could win a national championship. This team that we're seeing in the 3rd quarter, both sides of the football. I don't know what that was in the 1st half, but to be able to overcome that, put it to the side, and for Mike Elko to keep this team focused, engaged, and respond here in the 2nd half the way that they have, incredibly impressive to this point.
Sellers trying to get the edge, able to slip a tackle before he's drilled out of play at the 39-yard line. I'm going to mark him out at the 41, so it's a 4-yard gain, 3rd and long coming up. Howland Ratcliffe made the play defensively for Texas A&M.
Nice job stringing that out, forcing him out of bounds. I mentioned it earlier. Okay, you got to be cognizant. Eyeballs on the quarterback. Probably not. You wouldn't expect as much of a blitz situation as you would zone coverage, and keeping eyes on number 16.
They do have to snap the football here before the end of the quarter. Blitz coming. It's picked up. The pass, the way off target. Jacobs was open underneath, but that was airmailed by Sellers. And now South Carolina will punt it back to Texas A&M.
Well, they do dial up the blitz, and watch where they bring Cassius Howe from this time. He's going to be standing right here, and he's going to come right down Main Street, right up the middle. Some space opens up. He feels that pressure in his face. And we've seen him today be locked in, hitting on a lot of throws, and a bad miss there on 3rd down for a wide open Vandravius Jacobs.
Mason Love has been kicking it away from Concepcion because of those 2 returns for touchdowns this season. And this will go over his head, heading towards the goal line. Do they stop it short? They did, inside the 1. Gerald Kilgore down there for the Gamecocks. And that's how the 3rd quarter comes to an end after a 58-yard punt. Texas A&M will be 99 yards away from trying to take the lead. Backed up inside their 1 when the 4th begins in College Station. Moments ago, Mike Elko caught up with Taylor McGregor.
Coach, you have all the momentum in this game. What has been the difference for your group here in the 2nd half?
Yeah, I think we started playing a little bit more physical, a little bit more Texas A&M football. We got it back to a game. Now we got to go try to win a 4th quarter.
Thank you, Coach. Dave?
And Taylor, they have to go 99 yards to take the lead. Reed from the back of his end zone, backpedaling, and he hoists it over the head of his intended target, but a flag. Collier will get called for interfering with Concepcion. Reed was in trouble in the backfield.
Pass interference on the defense, number 8. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul, automatic 1st down.
Boy, just an incredibly punitive interference call here for South Carolina. Judge Collier working on Concepcion. He converts that little hitch and tries to get up the field. A lot of contact. I didn't see anything egregious there, Dave.
I'm with you. Didn't love the call there. Reed, quick throw. Concepcion out in space. And all the way to the 24-yard line, close to a first down. Again, it was 30-3 at halftime. South Carolina was leading. Number 3, Texas A&M. But Marcel Reed with 3 third-quarter touchdown passes to pull the Aggies within 6. This drive started on their 1. And on first down, Reed over the middle. It's caught for another first down. Bethel Roman on the grab and a gain of about 15.
When Marcel Reed is playing so confident, tight window throw, ball perfectly placed right there on the hands of Ashton Bethel Roman, who's been such a key piece in this second half.
Straight ahead run. And Reuben Owens out to the 44. That's right there what Mike Elko was telling Taylor. You saw the physicality up front and a good hard run by Reuben Owens.
And the defensive line, too. Stopping the run. Getting that fourth down stop earlier. Both sides of the football. Lines of scrimmage. And they're a line of scrimmage team. I mean, the name of their O-line is the Maroon Goons. One of the most veteran offensive lines, best offensive lines in the country. Starting to look like it here this half.
Reed from the pocket delivers a strike. It's Isaiah Williams, just his 2nd catch of the year, 4th of his career. His first catch of the season was the first touchdown of the game for Texas A&M, and he just went for 15 more yards there, putting the ball in South Carolina territory.
Similar to the touchdown, using him in motion, and South Carolina defensively unable to identify him wide open over the middle for that big game.
Reed with time, and you get 2 receivers in the same spot. You saw the frustration on Isaiah Williams. Looked like he was unhappy with Niblack, as if to say that Niblack was the one that ran the wrong route, and it's 2nd down.
Yeah, Maury Niblack, tight end, receiver, a little bit of both, and we're just going to see miscommunication here. Niblack in the exact same spot, and there's the frustration you voiced there, Dave, from Williams.
Texas A&M 9-0 for the first time since 1992. 6-0 for the first time in conference play since they joined the SEC. Back within 6. And on 2nd down, downhill Owens brought down after a 6-yard gain at the 35-yard line. Owens shaken up though. We saw Bethel Roman back on the field after he got injured in the 3rd, but now Owens, who's such a key piece for A&M, especially with Le'Veon Moss out after Moss was injured against Florida. So we'll step away for the injury timeout. 3rd and 4 when we come back. Watching the SEC on ESPN from Texas A&M, home of the 12th man. The Aggies were down by 27 at halftime. They outscore South Carolina 21-0 in the 3rd. And now they face a 3rd and 4 at the 35 of South Carolina. They have not converted on 3rd down today, although they are 2 for 2 on 4th down. And it could be in 4-down territory. 2.5 gone by here in the 4th. Empty set for Marcel Reed. Reed running it himself. Got the first down inside the 30, down to the 27 before he's wrapped up by Sean Murphy.
Put it in the hands of your quarterback. I love this play design. Watch right here. Big guys off the left side. It's 71 Basantis. It's Trey Zune opening up some space, and Marcel Reed putting his foot in the ground, getting north and south, and picking up a first down. First 3rd down conversion of the day for the Aggies.
A&M had a come-from-behind win at Notre Dame early in the season, trying to do it at home. Morrow, the true freshman, maybe 2 down to the 25, tackled by Goodwine.
They like this true freshman a lot. Talking with Colin Klein, he said that he's an absolute stud. Love what he brings to the table. 5'9", 205 out of Memphis, and they may have to lean on him until we figure out exactly the availability of Reuben Owens the remainder of this 4th quarter.
Empty set once again for Marcel Reed. Reed from the pocket, everybody covered, a flag down, Reed takes off inside the 10, touchdown to tie the game. Again, a penalty marker is down in the backfield, And a couple of offensive linemen are really upset for Texas A&M.
Holding on the offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty from their previous spot. Replay, second down.
That's the left guard, Chase Bisontis.
I don't know about this, Dave. Watch Bisontis, okay? He's going to chop the hands down to the defensive lineman, and then he's going to hold them down. I guess it's a little snatch pull down. What do you think of that? I don't know. That's pretty ticky-tack.
Jerry McGinn, our rules expert, your thoughts?
Now, I like the call. He jerks him right down. He didn't have to do it. He was in great position. That was a good call by the umpire.
Okay.
Now it's second down and 18 after the penalty. Reed hoists it deep. It's caught by Concepcion inside the 10. It's going to be first and goal for Texas A&M.
How about the pocket presence of Marcel Reed? Watch him climb and step up in this pocket. Bodies around him, eyes down the field, good platform. You can't throw it any better on the hands of Concepcion.
This drive started on the A&M 1. They're now inside the 5. Smith, the ball carrier. He's into the end zone for the touchdown, and the game is tied. A&M can take the lead with the extra point. Emmitt Smith's son, E.J., the transfer from Stanford, brings Texas A&M all the way back from down 30-3 at halftime. And Marcel Reed has now thrown for 415 yards when he was hovering around 115 yards for most of the first half. Randy Bond to give the Aggies their first lead. Some movement. Penalty marker down.
Offside on the defense. Number 90 jumped in the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Replay the try.
So that was on Devontae Miles. Texas A&M, number 3 in the country, 9-0 on the season. Looked like the way they played in the first half, with all the mistakes they made, all the opportunities they wasted, and the way South Carolina played, that it would take a near miracle to come back. We're still early in the fourth, 10:47 to go, and with the point after, they finally take the lead.
Well, these last two plays are a perfect example of this offense. It's Marcel Reed climbing the pocket, an explosive play down the field to Concepcion, then the physicality in the running game. Watch Naboo get out. Watch Zoon come forward. And it's E.J. Smith coming down the right side off of good blocking, getting into the end zone, giving the Aggies their first lead of the day here at College Station.
ESPN College Football is presented by ServPro, the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration.
Coming back from 30-3 at halftime. The touchdown by Borkacher to get them within 1 score in the third quarter, and E.J. Smith with the rushing touchdown just a moment ago to put A&M on top for the first time. And if the Aggies were to hold on, it would go down as one of the greatest comeback wins in SEC history. Nick Harbor is deep. Touchback. It'll come out to the 25. You go back to 2004, the last 21 years, teams are 0-286 in the SEC when they trail by 27 or more. And here is Mike Elko's team with the lead, but a lot of time left, 10:47 to go.
See a lot of graphics out there. That is a wow graphic. The fact that the Aggies have put themselves in position to win this game. What a turnaround here in this second half. What does Lenore Sellers have in store? Can he match Marcel Reed?
He'll hand it off to Jaden Sellers, and he's ankle tackled by York after a short gain. York has really come on defensively here in the second half. And might be shaken up here for the Aggies.
He's not going to lie you a size. He's 5'10", 225. But, man, he is so smart, understands where everything fits, always in the right position, and a sure tackler.
Sellers to throw on 2nd and 8. Pocket collapsing. Sellers sacked. Dayon Hayes with the takedown for a loss of 7.
Well, coming into this game, few can get after the quarterback as well as this team. Watch him win on the outside. Just going to be a simple rip. He's working on the true freshman, Surratt. Gets that rip high, continues to run the hoop, and he gets Sellers to the ground. Huge addition they brought in from Colorado, who's made the most of this last opportunity at Texas A&M.
Blitz coming. Sellers gets away from the defender, takes off, and sacked again. Back inside the 15 by Lee. 4th down. Texas A&M very much looking like the number 3 team in the country here in the second half as Sellers hobbles off the field for South Carolina.
Well, listen, this year, Mike Elko took over play calling duties. Watch here on 3rd down. They're going to bring the corner off the edge to come home. They haven't showed that all day. They show it the perfect time, and a huge sack on 3rd down.
Setting up the return for Concepcion on the short punt. A 2-hopper. Concepcion up the middle. And to the 46 of South Carolina. So Marcel Reed has thrown for almost 300 passing yards in the second half to bring Texas A&M back. Total yardage in the first half, 53. Or in the second half, rather, for South Carolina to 336 for Texas A&M.
Man, unbelievable turnaround in this football game. Just a tremendous response from Texas A&M. The South Carolina defense in the first half, they had all the answers. Can they get a stop? They need to step up and find a way to make a play the way they did in that first half.
E.J. Smith, who just scored the go-ahead touchdown, looking for some room off the left side. And he breaks a tackle and gets a first down before he's knocked out at the 30. A gain of 15 on the play.
Well, Papa's got to be proud watching this. E.J. Smith, just the epitome of this team, waits his turn, and when called upon, watch him lower the shoulder and run through the safety, DQ Smith. And he's carved out an important role here on this Aggies offense. The depth of this running back were really shining.
Inside 8 minutes to go. A&M up 1. Smith again. Met in the hole. And down after a gain of 1. This response by Texas A&M is what championship caliber teams do. And maybe this is more than what championship teams do coming back from 27 at halftime.
It's interesting because, you know, and again, a long way to go, but this response, and we'll see how this final 7:30 plays out, but this is exactly what you want to see from a team that's in the conversation to be one of the best teams in the country.
Again, basically have to win out to make the SEC title game a place they've never been since joining the league. Reed to the air on 2nd and long. Over the middle to Concepcion. And down to the 15-yard line. Another Texas A&M first down. Kilgore on the tackle downfield.
Well, Concepcion does such a good job creating space, getting open, little shake route, had some cushion. And an easy find for Marcel Reed over the middle of the field. The stark contrast in just the team itself, but Marcel Reed, Dave, he had no confidence throwing the football. Everything was off, and boy, has had few misses, if any, here in the second half. His play is a complete and total opposite.
Smith gets the carry, wrapped up at the line of scrimmage by Pikes. Even if Texas A&M gets into the end zone and kicks the extra point, South Carolina would be down just one score. The Gamecocks hoping to hold the Aggies to a field goal here, nearing 6 minutes to play.
And it's interesting because one of the problems for South Carolina this season has been finishing. They've been in position a lot of fourth quarters to finish games and get wins. They couldn't. A&M's been the exact opposite. That was their mantra all year. They didn't finish the end of last season. They finished fourth quarters, and it's put them in this position that they're in right now.
Pass play. Reed setting up, and he finds Williams. Brought down short of the first down by Kilgore. It'll be 3rd and 2. Boy, Isaiah Williams, a guy that didn't have a catch all year, but he got him started here in the 3rd, and he's trying to finish it here in the 4th.
And Mario Craver was questionable this week, and he started the game, but we haven't seen much of him. And in his absence, it's been Isaiah Williams. It's been Ashton Bethel-Roman. Other guys stepping up since Mario Craver, such a key piece of this passing attack, has been out the majority of this game.
They've only converted on 3rd down once, and that was on the last possession. It is 3rd and 3 at the 7-yard line of South Carolina. Orkacher in as a fullback. Reed on the roll-up, pressure in his face, and it is caught by Smith right at the line to gain the 5-yard line. It is a first down. 1st and goal for the Aggies.
Well, how about the concentration from E.J. Smith? This is a tough catch, working against his body, goes up, has to pluck that ball with his hands. Take a look at this spot, Dave.
The previous play was under video review. The ruling on the field was the player made the line to gain.
It was really close.
Keep in mind, South Carolina only the 1 timeout. They will get the official timeout at 2 minutes, but Shane Beamer had to burn 2 timeouts early in this second half. Reed with a defender in his face, threw a little high. Smith with a great catch. Where's the ball when he hits the ground?
The shadows don't help anything. Look at him. Looks like he almost stretches that ball over. It's tough to tell exactly from that spot. Good look here.
Would have to be clear and obvious to overturn the ruling on the field of a first down.
I mean, it is so close. Where's the elbow? Where's the ball? Again, if it's not clear and obvious, you'd expect the call in the field to be upheld. Jerry McGinn, I know our rules expert, sitting at home watching on the edge of his seat. What do you see, Jerry?
Dusty, I see the same thing. There's no telling exactly where the ball is coming down. The ruling of the field is a first down, so they're going to have to stay with it.
After video review, the ruling on the field is upheld. First down.
So 1st and goal on the South Carolina 5 with 4:43 to go. 28 unanswered second half points by the number 3 team in the country. Trying to keep SEC title hopes alive. With a win here at home, they have to go to Texas. They play Samford out of conference next week. They go to Austin, ABC Black Friday at night against Texas.
They don't expect them to lean on this offensive line. They found a little something, getting some good push.
Smith straight ahead, drags, good wind down to the 1-yard line. 2nd and goal.
Just good forward lean, physical running by E.J. Smith, getting better movement along the line of scrimmage for this offensive line. Really see the fatigue is set in on the South Carolina defense. Been on the field a lot in this second half and been on their heels. And Again, we heard Mike Elko talk about that physicality. I expect physical running to continue to try to cap off this drive.
Smith, and he did not get it down at the 1-yard line. Umazulu in there with Okoronkwo. Again, South Carolina's got some dudes on that defensive line. Can they step up again here on 3rd down and maybe have to do it on 4th down?
See Shane Beamer there trying to will that defense to find a way to bow that neck and come up with a stop.
3.5 remaining. A&M by 1. 3rd and goal from the 1.
They extra offensive lineman in the game here on the left side.
Throwing it to Reed. It's behind him. The ball's loose. And it's recovered by South Carolina. Inbounds by Fred Johnson. They run a trick play with the true freshman Morrow on the direct snap. He tries to throw it to the quarterback Reed. And they turn the ball over. A very questionable call on 3rd and goal from the 1.
Don't like the call whatsoever. Brian Thomas gets so much penetration. That was supposed to be a pitch initially there to the quarterback, Marcel Reed. He gets so much penetration, it spooks him. He tries to throw it, and he should have just eaten that play. But again, this is a young player in that spot, and that ball stays in bounds.
Does he secure it before that right arm goes out of bounds? Jerry, what do you see there?
I tell you, this is extremely close. It really appears that the right arm comes down out of bounds before he goes down to the ground. So they're going to take a look at this, and Texas A&M may get the ball back.
I don't, man, it looks like it looks like he secures possession to me before that right elbow comes down. And remember, on the field of play, it's a fumble recovery by South Carolina. It looks to me, Jerry, the knee's down, the ball is secured, and that wrist, that elbow, hasn't contacted out of bounds just yet.
So we go to break with South Carolina back on offense, trailing by 1 with 3:10 to go.
Okay, Brian Thomas Jr. is going to make this play. He's going to come off the edge, and he's going to disrupt everything. You're going to see a tight end pull, tight end pull. So what? They're going to direct snap it to Morrow. He can either toss it to Reed, or he can run it. When Brian Thomas Jr. gets all that penetration, the true freshman just panics. He freaks out, and he makes a very, very costly mistake throwing that ball backwards and giving the football to South Carolina.
That was 3rd and goal from the 1. Expedited replay upholds the call of a recovery by South Carolina. And now the catch made by Sellers and a gain of about 3. The man that threw it to him, Lenoris Sellers, a guy that many thought would be a Heisman Trophy candidate, still projected to be a 1st-round draft pick. It's time to show it. His team down 1. He had a great first half. Their kicker, William Joyce, is 3 of 3 today. His long on the year is 49. Sellers on the rollout, going to throw it away. Harbor was covered well by Des Ricks near the sticks, and now it's 3rd down and 6. And again, 1 timeout left for South Carolina. They'll also get the 2-minute official stoppage.
Best 3rd down defense in the country, with arguably the best home crowd in the country, is what Lenoris Sellers is facing on this important 3rd down. For the Aggies defense, you've got to be cognizant of Lenoris Sellers trying to pick this up with his legs.
Timeout by Texas A&M. So the Aggies are down to 2. Take a look at today's More Than a Home team, brought to you by Cracker Barrel. Marcel Reed, just a fantastic second half to bring his team back from a 27-point halftime deficit. He had some bad interceptions. 2 of them could have been 4 or 5 in the first half.
I've been doing this 10 years. You've been doing it twice as long as me. I don't think I can remember a player and a team flipping the script the way we've seen from Texas A&M and Marcel Reed. He's been confident. He's been accurate. He's made plays with his legs, his arm, the leadership. over on the sideline. That's the young man we sat down with yesterday, with confidence, with charisma, with a presence about him. He's out of presence here in this second half.
South Carolina 1 of 5 this half on third down. It's in Lenora Sellers' hands, and the pass in traffic incomplete. Jacobs, the intended target, Will Lee in coverage. It is 4th down and 6.
And Lenora Sellers has kind of done the opposite. He looked so good in the first half, and he has been off here in the second half. Tight coverage on the outside. He's trying to get it to Jacobs on the edge, but the coverage very good from Des Ricks on the perimeter. A little surprise here. South Carolina going for it on 4th down.
Now they do have, again, just the 1 timeout and the official 2-minute timeout. They go for it on 4th and 6. Sellers, long throw. Harbor caught it, and he's in bounds. A first down at the 31-yard line. A gain of 19, and Deion Hayes was right in the face of Sellers as he threw that ball.
What do you do when you got to have it? You make big-time plays. How about Nick Harbor, the former track star? Go up, high point this football. He's not a natural catcher of the ball. Fights through contact to convert a massive 4th down and keep this drive alive.
He is injured on the A&M sideline. He was hurt earlier this quarter on the other sideline. But Harbor just kept this game alive, and Lenora Sellers, that was a long throw that he put up there for the 6-foot 5-inch target to make the grab. 2:26 left. 1st and 10 for South Carolina at its 31. While we have a moment, I want to go back to what Colin Klein must have been thinking on 3rd down and goal from the 1 with a trick play with a true freshman.
Again, my gut is he had the option. He could either toss it to Marcel Reed or he could just run it. He had 2 tight ends coming across, and you put a freshman in that spot and he shrunk. He just, give Brian Thomas Jr. all the credit. He got vertical. He got in his face. You got to make a decision right now in real time that you've never been in that spot before. And the true freshman made a mistake. There's no other way to look at it. I am surprised, though, that he even put him in that position.
Especially with the way Marcel Reed has played this half.
Yeah. And E.J. Smith has been kind of your hammer, your short yardage guy. He's been running the football well.
And now South Carolina is about 40 yards or so away from a chance at a field goal. And plenty of time, 2:26.
I also want to just say, I don't want to just move over. To go for it on 4th and 6 there, that's a big decision by Shane Beamer. He could have punted the ball that 1 time out in the 2-minute, and if they get a stop, they get the ball back, because essentially you go for it from right there backed up and you don't get it, you're conceding at minimum some points. So
right, but then maybe they get a field goal
from Shane Beamer,
and then you could still go down the field and win with a touchdown. This way you can win with a field goal, or at least take the lead, depending on how much time is left. Sellers from the pocket setting up a screen. Howell. And he's close to a first down. They'll mark him down at the 40, a yard short. Chappelle with the stop.
May let this get to the 2-minute, Dave.
And they will. On the other side of the 2-minute, 1 timeout left for South Carolina. Number 3, A&M. Came back from down 30-3 at halftime. They have a 1-point lead, but Carolina's got the ball. Texas A&M trying to hang on and have its greatest come-from-behind win in school history. Down 30-3 at halftime. Now leading by 1 thanks to 28 unanswered points. But South Carolina with 1 timeout, 2 minutes to go. Clock will stop on first downs. 2nd and 1 for the Gamecocks. About 30 yards away from a field goal try. Sellers in trouble and sacked back inside the 30-yard line by Dalton Brooks. A loss of about 10, 3rd and long.
Mike Elko dialing up. He's going to sneak in, and he's going to get home with this pressure. I love the timing of this blitz. He makes that inside move on the right guard and gets Sellers to the ground. Huge sack for Dalton Brooks.
That's It's been a problem all year for LaNorris Sellers, taking sacks. Nobody's been sacked more in the country than him. And he lost 11 yards. It's now 3rd down and 12. Back at the 29, they have to burn their final timeout.
It was so tough. You do not want to take a sack in that spot if you're LaNorris Sellers. To your point, Dave, it has been an issue. Some of its offensive line struggles. Look, the right guard, Javon Ball, was not great there, allowing Brooks to get underneath, but got to understand the situation if you're LaNorris Sellers and find a way to get rid of that football, get outside the pocket, not take that sack. Mike Elko's getting into his bag, dialing up blitzes. We see the corner blitz, that safety blitz.
You just saw Nick Harbor on the sideline. He's going to the locker room banged up, so he's not out there right now. That big body receiver with track speed. Sellers in trouble again. And down he goes. Back at the 25, another sack. A loss of 4. It's going to be 4th down and 16.
Cassius Howe, the SEC sack leader. He's been waiting all game. Pin his ears back, let loose, and get home for the biggest sack of his season.
This could be it for South Carolina. Blitz coming. Sellers steps up. Taking off. Down he goes. Turnover on downs. A&M a minute away from hanging on for an incredible comeback. One of the greatest we've seen in SEC history.
Look, he's off the edge. He's going to sit back. And as LaNorris Sellers breaks to the right, he's in perfect position. But the routes down the field, as there's nobody open. LaNorris Sellers waiting, double coverage over the middle. And it's Cassius Howe, who has answered the bell time and time again for this defense. With the final 2 stops to complete the biggest comeback in program history.
One more knee and it's over. Texas A&M will go to 10-0. For the first time since they were 12-0 in the regular season back in 1992. It'll be their first ever 7-0 start in SEC play. Their last conference game after they play Samford next week will be in Austin against Texas. Black Friday night on ABC. They'll probably need to win that game to get into the SEC championship game, which would be their first ever. Texas A&M completes the greatest comeback in school history. Trailing at halftime 30-3, they storm back, score the final 28 points, and knock off South Carolina.
You find out a lot about a team when they face adversity. This team going into the half, down 27, making mistakes, getting outplayed in every fashion to respond in this way. This is the mark of a championship caliber football team.
Our college football headlines presented by Twisted Tea. So if A&M with the win today, they have a 55% chance to make the SEC title game again. That Texas game, it'll come down to that. Mike Elko right now standing by with Taylor.
Thank you, Dave. Coach, you just completed the biggest comeback in the history of Texas A&M. What characteristics does a group have to pull off what they just did?
Yeah, I think unbelievable grit, unbelievable togetherness. They obviously got to play really bad to start the game. That starts it, but they don't blink. They don't. We've been in a lot of these situations. We found ways to find wins. No one panicked on our sideline, and man, we just been out and made a heck of a lot of plays in the second half.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Dave?
And it was Marcel Reed. Just a spectacular second half. Elko hugging his quarterback after just an incredible, fascinating second half here in College Station as number 3 A&M stays unbeaten with the win over South Carolina. For Dusty Dvorak, Taylor McGregor, Dave Pasch, thanks so long from College Station.
Thank you for watching this presentation of the Southeastern Conference.